Hey guys, I'm going to try to break up today's discussion into three videos. The first one, just set up your notes for me, and I would not copy all of this stuff down right here. We're going to talk about those properties. I don't know that it's totally necessary for you to memorize any of this stuff over here. I think I'm going to make it clear and something that you feel like you don't have to memorize. So don't copy this down. It's just here for reference, okay? So on the first video, we're just setting up our notes, and I want to talk about that Costco situation for just a second. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in on this guy right here. Let's say you get a job driving for Uber or Instacart. I don't know if you know about this company, Instacart. You pay like a membership, and then you send in your order for groceries or anything you want, and they go pick it up, and they get like a percentage of how much it costs. The driver does, and they get, I think, a certain amount of mileage paid for. So I kind of made up a little bit of a story. Shocking, huh? And we're going to go back to the Costco situation. We're going to discuss like how much would it cost if you had a membership at Costco to buy gas. Well, it's a little cheaper than buying it at the basic corner gas station. So let's say they charge you $3.50 a gallon, and you have like about a $10 membership fee if you distribute that over the year into how many times you maybe go and get gas. So let's say you go once a month, fill up your car. So that'd be about $10 every time you go just for the membership fee. So this is what that line looks like. This is the cost of gas, given like you buy 100 gallons of gas. Let me come over here and click on the line. It's $360 in gas if you buy 100 gallons at $3.50 a gallon. Think about that for a second. Like $3.50 times 100 gallons would be $350, and then add 10 for the membership fee. You're at $360, right? Okay, so let's look at what Uber pays you. So I kind of figured this out. Like, let's say they give you $250 a month for being one of their drivers, and then they pay you $1.50 per gallon. You might think, well, that's a ripoff. I'm paying $3.50 a gallon for gas. Why do they only give me $1.50? Well, I just did some calculations on a little piece of paper here. Let's say they pay you 10 cents a mile. Well, that, if you got like a SUV, you're getting like 15 miles a gallon. That's $1.50 per gallon in gas. Okay, so I did some of those calculations for you. If I turn that on, so this is the amount that you're getting paid by Uber. If I turn those on, both lines, the green ones, how much you're getting paid, the red ones, what you're paying for gas. At this point right here, you are breaking even. Like the amount they pay you and the amount that you're getting, you're paying for gas at 120 gallons are both equal to each other. They're paying you $430 for the month, and you're spending $430 on gas. You might say, well, why would somebody drive if you're not going to make any money? Well, this is without the the tips that you get and the commission or whatever you want to call it, like the amount of money that you get per order, like 10% of the order's value and all that kind of stuff. So this would just be, cost of your car and all that kind of stuff. So if you drove for less than 120 gallons of gas, then you would come out ahead. If you drove more than 120, then you're paying more in gas. Okay. So that's the idea of what we're trying to do. We're trying to solve an equation. So let's make a little drawing of that. So this is the cost of our gas, right? So cost of gas. And then let's see, I think I had it in green for what Uber is going to pay you. Okay, so hopefully it's going to change to green. It might not let me do that. Let's see if it'll let me do that. Yes, it did. Okay, good. So what did that graph look like? Okay, it looked like that, like a little bit higher y-intercept and a lower slope. And where they intersect, that's kind of an important point. That's where the cost of gas and the amount that we're getting paid are equal to each other, right? Now, at this level of math, it is kind of difficult to come up with real world scenarios for every single problem that we have. It's just a real challenge. So, you might have a feeling like, well, when am I ever going to use this in my life? In reality, like, in medicine or engineering or in science, the situations are a little bit more complicated than what I just made for Costco and Uber driver, right? But the principles are still the same. So let's put these equations down for just a second. 250 plus 1.5x, okay? 250 plus 1.5x. So that's this one right here. 250 plus 1.5x. And the red one was 3.5x plus 10. So if I set them equal to each other, 3.5x plus 10, and I solve for x, so let's just watch for a second how I do that. I'd like you to put this down in your notes. So I end up with 2x plus 10 equals 250. And then I subtract 10 from both sides, and I get 240 equals, hopefully this looks familiar. You've done a bunch of this stuff, right? So this is the kind of thing that we're going to try to get better at during this whole chapter. So if I didn't make any mistakes, it should be right over here at 120 gallons. Okay, that's when we have this break even point right here, right? So that's at 120 gallons. And what was the cost again? $430. So, how could I figure out that 430 if I wasn't looking at Desmos? I would take my 120 and I'd plug it back into either one of the equations. So like 250 plus 1.5 times 120. Remember how they would say plug it in or something like that, your Algebra 1 teacher, your Integrated 1 teacher. So 1 times 120 is 120, half 120, 60, that's 180. So we got 250 plus 180, which comes out to be $430. That's where that 430 comes from. Thanks for watching video 1. This is the kind of stuff we're going to be doing in this whole chapter.